Hey, 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 happy Friday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. That's right, I am the editor as well as the founder of thegaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Friday, January 10th, 2020. This is episode 422 of The Daily Dope. This is the first time you've joined me. This is very, very casual. Just kind of kicking it, talking about tabletop gaming news, a little bit of pop culture stuff from time to time, but for the most part, just kind of talking about what's the latest goings on with tabletop gaming news, as well as stuff that's on the horizon as far as my reviews and unboxings and things like that. So, anyway, it's not rocket surgery. It's just me kind of kicking it with the folks in chat. Yes, because this is live on YouTube. That also means that chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or comment, by all means, please chime in. I will do my best to respond. Sometimes the chat kind of zips past while I'm in the midst of doing things, and I miss some things. So one thing I do want to point out: if you ask something or make a comment and I do not respond to it, it's okay if you wait a couple of minutes and then re-type that out. It's okay, So I should see it at some point and acknowledge that. Of course, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, and if you do, be sure to ring that little bell, because not only will that notify you of when the Daily Dope goes live within about a minute or so, it'll also tell you when I upload standalone videos, such as my unboxing and first look at the limited edition of Oceans from North Star Games. Actually, the box says North Star Games Studio now. So maybe they're kind of changing up their name? I don't know. Kind of weird. It's really, actually, North Star is kind of bizarre because it's been North Star Games where North and Star are two different words. Then now it's showing that it's North Star as one word. I don't know. I always refer to it as North Star Games. Don't know what to tell you. But that will be up. I'm going to put that up tomorrow is when I will actually put that up. So also do want to point out my unboxing video and first look at Bang the Duel, as well as Bang the Duel Renegades, which is the new expansion. That is up as well. So be sure to check that out. So tonight in chat so far, we've got John Vogel, Ronald Griffith, Beat Cafe, and A Gray Day are hanging out with me in chat. Good to see everybody. Happy Friday. There is some really crummy weather that's swinging in. I know we're going to get it in the Chicago area. They're up in the air about how much snow we're going to get. I'm taking a guess we're not going to get really much snow at all. But, I mean, it was like, 12 inches the other day, and now they're down to maybe 2. Well, we are going to get a bunch of freezing rain, maybe ice, a little bit of snow. So I know a lot of people are getting hit with snow and rain throughout the U.S. Be careful out there this weekend. I just tweeted out, everybody have a nice, safe, and warm weekend. Kick it with some games rather than going out there brazing some crap weather. So also, I saw Neil Peart from Rush passed away earlier this week. They had, I guess, just made that public. What a bummer. Neil Peart was my favorite drummer of all time. I personally think he's the greatest drummer of all time. I know, it's up for, debate. But Rush was always one of my favorite bands. I saw them about a dozen times in concert. And what a shame. Too bad. He was a pretty interesting character as well. Pretty interesting lyricist. So, unfortunately, the passing of one of the greatest of all time, Neil Peart, earlier this week. All right, let's jump on into the news because I've got a few different genres we're going to dive into. But first off, I do want to point out the well-received trivia game, Stay Cool, is arriving in English from Iello Games this March. I've got the dope. Stay Cool is easy. We ask you to do nothing complicated, but you must do it all at the same time. When you are the active player in the first round, you must answer verbally the questions asked by your left-hand neighbor, while you write answers to the questions asked by your right-hand neighbor using 7-letter dice to write 3 or 4-letter answers. While you're doing this, another player flips a 30-second sand timer 4 times, giving you 2 minutes to answer as many questions as possible. At the end of that time, multiply the number of answers you gave for the questions from the left and from the right to determine your score. In the second round, you do the same thing once again with new questions, but you must tell the player watching the sand timer to flip it before it runs out of sand, with a maximum of 2 minutes of playing time. If you fail to tell the player to flip the timer before it runs out of sand, your turn ends immediately. However your turn ends, you score points as described. In the third and final round, you must do everything described in the third round. I guess what that means, second round? Except now the sand timer is hidden from your eyes. So I'm taking a guess in the third round, you don't get to see the timer, but you still have to tell that person when to flip that timer over. So, Stay Cool is for 3 to 7 players. It's kind of an odd number, right? 7. Ages 12 and up, plays in 10 to 30 minutes. It will carry an MSRP of $24.99 when it arrives in stores on March 26th. I have heard some good things about Stay Cool. I'm trying to think. I want to say I think it was at Essen, at Spiel, when they rolled this out. I think it was in German. So this is the English language version of this. Or maybe it was in Italian. Anyhow, I heard there were some people said it's pretty cool. Said, no pun intended, right? It's Stay Cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I had heard some folks really, really dug it. So it could be interesting. Could be a complete dud. I don't know. Sometimes some of these hotness games, I don't know where that's coming from. So I see the Madman is in chat with us today. Good to see you, Madman. So moving right along, as Beat Cafe says, yes, they agree. Neil Peart was amazing. Yeah, he was. And I got to be honest, Rush put on one hell of a live show. That's why I saw them a dozen times. Plus, I was in that kind of music. Okay, so here's the funny thing. Now, I don't want to try to sound sexist. Because I'm not. I'm certainly not. But strangely enough, Rush tends to be a guy's band. I didn't run across, I don't think I've ever run across a woman who likes Rush or liked Rush, what have you. Kind of weird. But I really do think Rush is kind of a dude sort of band. So, I don't know. I don't know. All right, moving right along. Currently up for Kickstarter funding for Darkgate Games is Neo MORPHOSIS Infestation. Here's the dope. It's 2159, and the world is very different. New technology abounds, created during the rush to fight the hot Earth crisis of 2039. But the Nano Mirror project, finally launched in 2077, either failed or succeeded too well, depending on your outlook. It steadily cooled the Earth, first to a comfortable pre-1980 temperatures through I should say, through uncomfortably chilly weather to the current cold Earth crisis, first named so in 2121. We're in the second technological gold rush, looking for a way to warm the planet or leave it behind entirely. You are a member of the 4-man replacement crew for the World Exit Research Station, where you'll be working on one of the many research projects taking humanity to the stars. Little do you know what's in store for you. Upon arrival, you immediately find yourself fighting for your life against a terrifying insectile alien horde. The crazed and aggressive creatures fight you, but they are just as happy to destroy the station itself, while they rapidly metamorphosize to bigger and angrier forms. Can you hold the station together before you're exposed to the deadly sub-zero exterior temperatures? Work as a team to initiate repairs, seal off sectors against the alien menace, and rig the fire suppression system to suffocate the aliens. Bring all your technical skills to bear to program the station computer to avoid systems failures. Recruit the station drone to help repair the mess left behind. Or maybe you're more suited to a head-on approach. If you can craft makeshift weapons from tools found in the workshops and labs, you might stand more chance than swinging a wrench. Raiding the medbay will help you stem the bleeding so you can fight another battle. Will you eradicate the infestation in time, or will the station be overrun by the alien menace? Bum, bum, bum. MORPHOSIS Infestation is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. Use the objective-driven encounter generator to create endless games of standalone dice-rolling fun, or string 3 games together for short, story-driven campaigns. Just make sure you squish the bugs before they squish you. There is a very quick 30-second Kickstarter video from Darkgate Games. Let's take a peek. Told you it was a really fast video. MORPHOSIS Infestation is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. The project is over 270% funded, and you can reserve a copy of the base game and all unlocked stretch goals for a $140 pledge. Do want to point out, right now there is an early bird special. It's running for about the next 20 hours or so, and you can get the game for $100. I think after that, it goes up to the $140. The $140 does also include the first expansion for the game as well. So, wanted to share this because, for one, the miniatures look pretty cool. Unfortunately, you're not seeing a bunch of the miniatures here because the images they had on the Kickstarter were kind of small. But I'm kind of up in the air on this Kickstarter. So everything looks cool. Seems like a pretty cool game. It looks like it's very similar gameplay to Darkgate Games' Vampire Hunters, the Order of the Vampire Hunters, I should say. So I kind of get the feeling that it's kind of the same gameplay. But I got Vampire Hunters. Darkgate Games sent me a review copy. I did an unboxing video. I think the miniatures were actually pretty well done, especially considering I think that was the first game that Darkgate Games had ever done. Gameplay was okay, but to me the big selling point was the miniatures. Now, jump forward, there was a Kickstarter for Dark Rituals, which is another game that's got a bunch of miniatures, things like that. That had an expected release for January right now. And there's talk with the updates and that, maybe it's a summer release. So this is where I get kind of up in the air about Kickstarters like this. I'm not a huge fan of companies that do multiple Kickstarters. As far as, so they finish up one Kickstarter and then they start another Kickstarter, but they haven't actually fulfilled the previous Kickstarter. I'm not a big fan of seeing that. I'm really not. Now, that said, Dark Gate Games has fulfilled the Vampire Hunters, and they have been very transparent, very upfront about Dark Rituals, and sharing a bunch of the stuff. And it's right now it's in just the process of, I think, approving a few more of the minis and stuff like that, and it's going to go into production and that. But still, I don't know. There's something about that just throws me off a little bit, especially with companies when they're dealing with miniatures. That kind of, don't know. So Kabuki Kid is here. So good to see you, Double K. So Kabuki Kid says, I think technically Kickstarter isn't supposed to allow that. As far as I understand, now I might be wrong, but as far as I understand, Kickstarter will not allow you to run 2 Kickstarters at the same time. Because I know for a fact, Ulysses North America has done Kickstarters for Torg Eternity, for the different Cosms, and they have launched Kickstarters without having fulfilled the previous Kickstarter. So, but as far as I understand, you can't run multiple Kickstarters at the same time. That is not allowed. So I do see William McGinnis is in chat with us as well. So I did want to share that Kickstarter because it does look cool. I like the artwork. The style looks pretty good. Like I said, and to be honest, the gameplay for Vampire Hunters, to me, the AI for the vampires was just really random to me. I mean, it wasn't like it's a bad game. It was just sort of like, I like the minis. In fact, if you're kind of curious, you can always check out the unboxing video that I did for Vampire Hunters. Moving right along, let's talk a little bit about a war game for a change, right? So, Custer's Last Stand and the Battles of Rosebud Creek and Little Bighorn is available from Worthington Publishing. Here's the dope. This is an old-school hex and counter war game that includes 2 full, complete games in one box. Both game maps are hard-mounted front and back on one large game board. Both are playable in under 2 hours. Both are for 2 players, but are solitaire-friendly. Both are complete games unto themselves, yet use the same basic rule system. Everyone knows about the Little Bighorn battle. The Battle of Rosebud Creek was its prelude, just as big, and may have prevented troopers from reaching Custer. Major General George Armstrong Custer, 23-year-old general, bold cavalry commander, and hero of the Civil War. Wild, unpredictable, ambitious. Fast forward 11 years. Suspended, reduced in rank, returning to command the 7th Cavalry in one more battle. Potential presidential candidate. Looking for a fight and a return to glory. Sitting Bull Crazy Horse Gaul and the Sioux Nation will give him his fight, and in some ways, his glory. Now be Crook at the Rosebud or Custer at the Little Bighorn, or Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull. This is a low complexity war game. Custer's Last Stand, the Battles of Rosebud Creek and Little Bighorn is for, as previously mentioned, 1 or 2 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 1 to 2 hours, and does carry an MSRP of $75. Shoo. Gotta say, this looks pretty good. I have heard some good rumors floating around about Custer's Last Stand. One thing I always talk about as far as historical games, war games, conflict sims, what have you, sometimes it's very difficult to game a certain battle or certain situation. So, for an example, I don't understand the concept of having like an Alamo game, and there have been Alamo games. Victory Point Games came out with 2, and I thought one of them was all right, and the other one I was like, But and Alan Emmerich chewed me out because I didn't think they were great, but still. That is a very difficult battle to game, right? Campaign, I guess we'll say, to game. What is the victory condition if you're the Texicans, right? How long you hold out? It's got to be it, right? Same thing. It's like Rorke's Drift. If you lay it out as it should be, the Brits should not have any chance, really, of surviving. But at least that I can see gaming something. In fact, it's talking about Victory Point games again. Zulus on the Ramparts is excellent. It's an excellent game. So, but yeah, I'm kind of curious about this because Lil Bighorn is not one of those situations where you think it's easily gamed, but there are people out there saying that so far this is their favorite Little Bighorn game that they've ever played. Because there have been a few. So could be pretty cool. Gotta be honest, I've actually never played a Worthington game ever. I know, it's kind of weird. It's another one of those companies that for some reason I just can't get on the same page with, you know. Anyway, so Marwinius Cyrano from York is in chat with us again. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us as well. So let's see what's going on with chat before I jump back into the rest of the news here. So there's a review for Custer's Last Stand up by Marco. I try not to talk much about Marco. I encountered Marco at Gen Con one time, and I didn't personally talk to him. I was sitting at a table next to him while he was gaming with somebody who was like sharing a prototype, and the less said about it, the better. I know a lot of wargamers love Marco, and that's cool. That's fine. Got no issue. It's just the personal experience I had sitting next to him. I wouldn't give the guy time of day. All right, so have I ever gotten anything from Legion or White Dog? Asks a Gray Day. Way back in the day. Way back. In fact, two of the earliest videos on the YouTube channel are Legion War Games. So you've got, was it Eggshells and Slouch Hats? And Tonkin were the two Legion games that I did reviews of. And then White Dog was it was a Herman Luttman design, which for some reason I think they reprinted with another company, or they're going to be reprinting for another company. I can't remember the name of it though. I liked it. It was pretty good. Component quality wasn't anything to write home about for White Dog. And that was another company that was just kind of, communications were just weird. So anyway, but not Legion. Legion makes great stuff. Just I just haven't touched base with isn't it Randy? I want to say it's Randy over there. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Anyway, so Gray Day says, yeah, he is unique as far as Marco. Like I said, yeah, maybe it's very possible maybe it was just he was having a bad day. But Elliot and I were sitting, I think we were playing Twilight Struggle, if I remember right, doing our annual Gen Con Twilight Struggle match. And I wasn't facing Marco. Elliot was facing Marco. He was behind me. And I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just mentioning that. So he didn't know it was me sitting there. I don't know. Marco may not even recognize me anyway. So, but yeah, he was awful. He was really nasty to this guy. He was just okay. So long story short, so he was nasty to the guy because I could hear the conversation going on right behind me, and he said, "Oh, he got up to go do something." He said, "I'll be right back," and he was like playing this guy's play test or whatever. And then he never came back. He just blew the guy off. I was like, yeah, okay. So anyway, whole thing is, I wasn't sure why Marco was even at Gen Con, because wargaming is not, conflict sim is not big. And yes, I know he has branched out into other games and stuff like that, what have you. But yeah, he was just super, super rude to the guy. Anyway, whatever. Like I said, could have been a bad day. Maybe, wasn't feeling good. So who knows? I don't know. Like I said, I know people out there like it. I know people are like, here come the thumb down. Whenever I say something about, somebody else in the industry, I'm like, nah, I'm not a fan. Like when I talk about Man versus Meeple, I'm like, no, that's complete shill. No thanks. Once the guy was like, I'm gonna thumb you down. It's like, whatever. I don't care. I do my thing. I just do my thing. I don't really pay much attention to what anybody else is doing. So anyway, Ronald, I'll answer that question about some of my favorite war games once I wrap up the news. We only got a couple more news pieces, so Great Day's like, you're fine, Jeff. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm fine. Hair's fine. I'm fine. So we've been talking about this game a bit, a few times, especially in chat. So why don't we explore a bit of the dope about Mothership from Tuesday Night Games. Mothership is a sci-fi horror role-playing game where you and your crew try to survive the most inhospitable environment in the universe, outer space. You'll excavate dangerous derelict spacecraft, explore strange unknown worlds, exterminate hostile alien life, and examine the horrors that encroach upon your every move. Choose from one of 4 classes. Teamsters, the rough and tumble workers. No doubt they are probably led by Jimmy Hoffa. More versatile at first level, Teamsters can be anything from engineers to pilots to asteroid miners. If Ripley from Aliens is your hero, then you'll want to play a Teamster. Scientists, doctors, researchers, or anyone who wants to slice open aliens, should have been researchers, not researches, who wants to slice open aliens or infected crew members with a scalpel. Become an expert in genetics or xenobiology, or protect your crew from deadly viruses. Asteroids are an exciting and terrifying addition to any crew. Powerful due to their supreme intellect, speed, and near immunity to fear, they tend to unnerve other crew members with their cold inhumanity. And Marines are here to shoot bugs and chew bubblegum. I'm all here to kick it. I'm here just to kick ass and chew bubblegum. Now I'm all out of bubblegum. They're handy in a fight and better when grouped together. But be wary when a Marine panics, because it could spell doom for the rest of the crew. Game over, man. Game over. Mothership is actively in development, so this is actually a beta release. I guess I don't think a lot of people knew that. That the player's handbook or the player's guide, which is absolutely free. Well, I take that back. It's pay what you want. Is actually a beta. It's still being updated. So, also want to point out that Mothership is the winner of the 2019 Gold Ennie for Best Game. The 44-page Player's Survival Guide is, as I mentioned, pay what you want at Drive-Thru RPG, which means you don't have to pay anything. It's basically how that story works out. As I pointed out, was it yesterday I was talking about this? Sometimes these shows kind of just all kind of clop together. I was talking about pay what you want is effectively the publishers know you're probably not going to pay anything. And that's cool with them. It's okay. They're just doing it for the marketing. Now, I am sharing a few other releases for Mothership. I'm not going to go through all the sell sheet info, but you got Dead Planet, which also won an Ennie. I think it was a silver Ennie for like Best Adventure. And once again, that's kind of I think there's a little old school vibe to Mothership. I'm not positive because I have not read through it. But so we've got that. We also have the hell? I just had it. Just had popped up there. Something about flesh. It's like, which is supposed to be, you can create your own kind of like backwoods space station, kind of gritty, grim, sort of like Outland. A Pound of Flesh, that's it. A Pound of Flesh. And then there's a new adventure, just a 2-page adventure that's come out. I think that came out just a couple of days ago. The Haunting of Lipsian 14. Which I want to say is a couple bucks. So the player's survival guide is absolutely free. Well, or pay what you want if you want to throw a couple of bucks towards Tuesday Night Games. The other 2 releases, A Pound of Flesh as well as Dead Planet, are $7. And the new 2-page adventure is $2. So A Gray Day is basically saying, hey, very, very highly recommended. So very cool. Very cool. All right, my final news piece. Modiphius Entertainment has released a new role-playing system, and I've got the dope on Nibiru. Taking a guess on that pronunciation. Remember your past, secure your future. Nibiru is a science fiction role-playing game of lost memories. Players take on the roles of vagabonds, amnesiacs, lost in a massive space station home to millions, where stories of drama and struggle are written on a daily basis. The Nibiru core book features everything you need to play the game. An introduction to the skyless world and a human history on the third flicker. 3 fully detailed chapters with sample settlements and maps for the known regions of Antumbra, Penumbra, and Umbra, and featuring a large foldable insert to track your journeys across the skyless world. The innovative Memos system, which builds your character as you unearth and write their lost memories, rewarding your creativity, also features revelations given extra dimensions to your writing, from rewarding you for writing in rhyme or creating expensive story arcs, to concocting poisons made of your worst memories and storing moments of your past into objects. Revelations take the Memo system to a whole other level. A deep and detailed bestiary of creatures and AIs to populate the skyless world with, full of interesting details and engaging story hooks. There's an origin story for your group to start off right from the get-go, serving as an introduction to the weird world of Nibiru, and much more. You only need the core book and a handful of regular 4-sided dice to play Nibiru. The 200-page core book is available for $52.25 from Modiphius, which also includes a PDF, or you can get the PDF at Drive-Thru RPG for $27. So, this looks interesting. Seems like kind of a cool setting. Although the artwork does give sort of a kind of an Egyptian mythos kind of feel to it from what I've seen. As far as the game system itself, though, I'm a little up in the air, right? 4-sided dice is all you use. And I don't know. The game mechanics sound a little odd. So I don't know. Plus, it's pretty pricey for a 200-page book. $52, $27 for the PDF. I don't know. I get the feeling. Now, this was successfully Kickstarted. But I get the feeling that this is, I don't know if this is actually a Modiphius property or not. I am not positive what's going on with that. So I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm going to answer Ronald Griffith's question, and then there are a couple of things I was going to mention, and then we will wrap up. So what are some of my favorite war games? Well, it all depends. If we're looking at something like really deep and detailed, I've got some of my favorites like that. If you're talking about, well, what are some of my favorites that are just really nice introductory war games to introduce conflict sims to people, I've got those. And then, of course, I've got some of my favorite solitaire games. So I can throw out the Academy Games Birth of America series. So you've got 1812. You've got 1754. I really like that system a lot. Super, super easy to get into. And it's one of those games where the game doesn't wear its welcome out. You're not sitting there and you've been playing it for hours upon hours upon hours. And you're like, oh, is this ever going to wrap up? it has set end conditions. And basically one of them is if you play certain cards from your hand and you only have like 12 cards in your deck, you get 3 cards per turn. No, maybe you get 18 cards, I think, in your deck. So can wrap up pretty quickly. So I like that. The Warfighter system from Danvers Games is an excellent solitaire game. Really, really dig that. Crowbar just came out, and that is from I almost said Tiny Battle Publishing. It's not Tiny Battle Publishing. It's Flying Pig Games. That is solitaire. You can play multiple players. It's excellent. Really good. Dawn of the Zeds, another Herman Blutman design. Really, really dig it. There you go. The Madman Tank Duel took the words right out of my mouth. From GMT. Wild Blue Yonder. I love Wild Blue Yonder. Super, super easy to get into. And that is a World War II dogfighting game with loads and loads of aircraft in it. I don't know if it's sold out, though. So, yeah, there's loads and loads. What you can do is you can just, if you want to get a feel for various different war games, go over to thegaminggang.com and check out the War Room. That is our category for wargaming stuff. There's wargaming news, plenty of reviews. Usually have at least 1 or 2 wargame reviews every month. So, yeah, go back. I would take a guess. There's probably about 50 wargame reviews on thegaminggang.com. So, all right. And I do want to point out, Glowing Turtle popped in. Good to see you hanging out in chat. So, apologize I didn't get to say hello. So, it's kind of like talking about different war games and stuff. So, I was going to say, so I finished watching The Witcher. Finally. Finished that up. I finished up the last 4 episodes. And, yeah, it was all right. I hated the way that they presented stuff just jumping all over the place time-wise. And it was funny. So I was talking to Elliot Miller, my best friend, who I mentioned nearly every show. I talked to him quite a bit, and we were talking about stuff to watch, right? And I said, oh, hey, did you watch The Witcher? He's like, oh, yeah. He goes, I tell you what, he goes, my wife and I hated the way they were jumping around in time. I started laughing. I'm like, uh-huh. I said, and we're sitting there. He goes, it's, I don't know, like the 3rd episode. And he goes to this like party at the castle and the queen is there. And he's like, my wife is like, wait a second, she's dead. I bust out laughing really loud. I was like, that's exactly when I was like, what the F is going on here? Like 3 episodes in here. So this is all just bouncing around. So, Melwinia says, Cavill carries it, Cavill, I should say, pronounced Cavill, carries it in my opinion. Yeah, I thought he was fine. I thought he was okay. Some people didn't like it. But then again, as far as I understand, Geralt is not supposed to be like the most chatty, upbeat sort of guy. It's not that kind of character. So yeah, I thought I liked it. I thought it was okay. So I do know that they're talking about, if anybody's wondering about the 2nd season, which they greenlit, I think they greenlit it like 3 weeks before, 3 or 4 weeks before it even premiered. The 1st season premiered. So pre-production is going to start this year, early this year. They're expecting to actually have the 2nd season in early 2021. And they have brought back the 3 leads, so they will be returning. And according to the showrunner, they will try to stick more to a traditional kind of format as far as story lines and not be all over the place time-wise without actually telling the viewer that you are jumping around in time. So I saw, speaking of jumping around in time, I saw something, I think it was on Twitter. Some outlet had tweeted out something like, so the big thing this year was jumping around in different time frames in TV shows. And they said, The Witcher and Watchmen really pulled this off. And I thought, no, Watchmen really pulled it off. The Witcher, not so much. So, but at least we will see a little more linear storytelling. So the funny thing is, I was going to mention, I'm trying to figure out what I should watch, right? So I have not watched Sabrina yet. So I have not seen Sabrina. I did read the first couple of issues way back when they did the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina over at Archie Comics. I still have a couple of seasons to catch up, maybe 3 seasons to catch up on for American Horror Story. I still have some Outlander I need to finish up. And so what do I find myself watching last night? On Netflix? Star Trek The Next Generation. It's like, I was sitting there and I was like, oh yeah, this is on here. And I'm like, I wonder if their episodes are the ones that they did high def and they redid all the special effects and stuff like that. Or is it still going to be in that format where you're going to watch it in a little box? Sure enough, it is the HD. So I watched, and I know the first season of Next Generation is not very good, but I started from the beginning and I watched like the first 4 episodes last night. So yes, that brought back memories. And it was just pretty wild to see it in high def, since it wasn't that long ago. It was only a few years ago I watched it and it was not high def on Netflix. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. There's all these different shows out there that I could be watching, and I started watching Star Trek Next Generation. Don't know. One last thing I was going to mention, talking about TV shows and stuff like that. I'm not sure if folks out there are watching Doctor Who. So Doctor Who returned. So I watched the first 2 episodes. I caught up with Doctor Who last week. I am fine with the Doctor being a woman. What I'm not fine with, and this is like since they jump-started Doctor Who, it wasn't a reboot, but since Doctor Who returned, why is it that they just can't get the Master right? Every showrunner has presented the Master in a different way, and the Master is just terrible. When I was I guess I was going to say kid. I guess I was kind of a kid. I think I was in like 7th grade when I first started watching Doctor Who on our PBS station here in the Chicago area. And so Tom Baker was my doctor, right? And the Master popped up a few times during Tom Baker's run. And he was a badass. He was a great villain. Now they make him out to be like, well, for one, the Master was Missy, so they made the Master a woman, which was okay. That didn't bother me. But they still make the Master kind of like now is like kind of scatterbrained, kind of an idiot. Like the new incarnation they had in the first 2 episodes of this season of Doctor Who, it's like spittle would be flying out of his mouth and stuff. And I'm like, how is this guy like the villainous equivalent to the Doctor? It's like, this guy's a bumbling moron. So that kind of irritates me. So anyway, so the Grade A says Patrick Rothfuss books are coming to TV. I'm not sure who Patrick Rothfuss is. Of course, I know Wheel of Time, obviously enough. Yeah, Robert Jordan, and all 78 volumes of that series that Brandon Sanderson had to wrap up the final book. So I am not sure who Patrick Rothfuss is. So, anyway, so just kind of wondering what I should be watching this weekend. Maybe I'll just go back to watching some Star Trek The Next Generation. It's like comfort food, right? It's like, just sitting down and, what should I have for dinner tonight? Yeah, might as well make meatloaf, make spaghetti or something like that. It's like comfort food. All right, so that's it for tonight. The King Killer Chronicle is that series. I am not familiar with those books at all. I am hoping that we do get some good fantasy series. I thought His Dark Materials was okay. I thought it was fine for HBO. I've watched The Expanse. I was on The Expanse before a lot of people were on The Expanse. In fact, I was singing The Expanse's praises for like a year and a half to Elliot, telling him he and his wife had to watch the show. It is that good. No, I haven't watched it. Finally said, yep. He goes, we watched it. We binge watched all 3 seasons. That's like, Uh-huh. Told you. He's like, oh, it's excellent. It's awesome. I like the new season of The Expanse, too. I know some people didn't. They didn't like the fact that they were down on that planet, and there was not as much, like, galaxy-wide intrigue as we had seen in the previous 3 seasons, but I liked it. I thought it was good. So anyway, do want to point out, tomorrow, keep your eyes peeled. I will have my unboxing video for Oceans up, so don't miss out. It looks pretty cool, and I am playing some games this weekend. This is going to be at the table, so I'm hoping to have a review out shortly for Oceans as well. Okay, so anywho, as I like to point out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel. If you do so, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you of when the Daily Dope goes live, it'll also tell you when I upload standalone videos like the Oceans unboxing and first look. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Next week, no glasses. I'll be back to contacts. First of all, I'm weird looking anyway, but I think I look even weirder in glasses. As a madman says, they just got their copy of Oceans today. Sweet. Mine came, I think it was yesterday. Came yesterday, and I shot the unboxing today. Anyway, everybody who hung out in chat with me, thank you very, very much, especially on a Friday night. I know there's a lot of things that people could be out there doing as opposed to sitting around, hanging out with me. But always appreciate anybody who hangs out in chat, keeps me company. And of course, if you watch after the fact, if you watch on Memorex, still got a very soft spot in my heart for you as well. Really, really appreciate anybody who takes some time out to watch the show. Of course, I will be back on Monday. So everybody have a great weekend. As I mentioned to open the show, there's a lot of lousy weather across the U.S. this weekend, starting tonight. Be careful out there. Have a very safe weekend. Stay warm. And as I mentioned earlier, play some games. Don't brave some crappy weather. Hang out at home, play some games, enjoy yourself, stay safe and warm. And of course, I will see you on Monday. And until then, happy trails. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.